You know, it is getting harder and harder to maintain a level of respect with Kirk Herbstreit. There's no denying the fact that Kirk Herbstreit, he is an absolute legend in college football. Now, broadcasting wise, I will never compare him to John Madden and Pat Summerall, but I will say when Kirk Herbstreit is calling a college football game, you know it is one of the biggest games of the week, if not the biggest game of the week. This dude has been the voice of college football for most of my life. For decades, he has been the face of College Gameday on ESPN, a show that used to be appointment television, a show that used to be respected, a show that used to be taken seriously. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't watched College Gameday in years now. They lost me when they started bringing in these celebrity guests, some of which know absolutely nothing about college football. You know, when I'm watching Game Day Morning on NFL Network on Sunday mornings, I don't want to hear NFL analysis from someone like Dr. Dre. I don't want to hear Honky Tonk Hank, who topped the country music charts with his hit single, I'm attracted to my Cocker Spaniel. I don't want to see Honky Tonk Hank trying to find holes in a zone defense. I haven't watched College Gameday since they brought in Pat McAfee, so I can't personally comment on his performance on the show. According to The Athletic, ESPN's audience, they hate the addition of Pat McAfee on College Gameday. Over the last few months, I've had dozens of you guys reach out to me criticizing the performance of Pat McAfee on College Gameday. A lot of you guys feel like Pat McAfee has turned the show into kind of a joke. I'll tell you the exact moment, though, that ESPN lost me with College Gameday. 3 years ago, America. She is in the midst of soothing her bruised caboose after being infiltrated by the Fauci fungus. Now, at the time, ESPN was filming College Gameday inside of a studio. They made sure their panel of shit fucks were socially distanced, and they provided them with gas masks to ensure they were protected from dangerous germs. It was the beginning of September 2020. College football season was beginning for everyone. Well, besides the Pac 12. For the most part, the Pac 12 shut down for the season. Fast forward 3 years later, what I think was the most competitive conference in college football this season is on the verge of extinction, and rightfully so. But on that day in early September, the primary focus of College Gameday wasn't on college football. Why would you expect a show that's named College Gameday to focus on college football? On that particular day, there were more important matters to discuss. ESPN brought in their heavy hitters. They brought in their political experts to analyze the most dangerous plague facing America: mythical racism. The expert of experts on this particular issue was none other than Kirk Herbstreit. Well, KC, what does Kirk Herbstreit know about racism? Not a damn thing. But possessing knowledge, that is not a requirement at ESPN. I mean, this is the same network that considers Mina Kimes to be an NFL analyst. Mina Kimes has thrown as many passing yards in the National Football League as you and I have. None. But somehow ESPN claims that she is qualified to analyze the league. 3 years ago, Kirk Herbstreit, he goes on College Gameday. He has an emotional breakdown talking about mythical racism. Oh, I'm so heartbroken. These kids are being discriminated against because they wear hoodies. I can't take it anymore. Please end my suffering, end my emotional pain. At that point, I was already getting disillusioned with ESPN and College Gameday. After Kirk Herbstreit's emotional soliloquy on mythical racism, I was officially done. It was the definition of pandering. It was a publicity stunt. I'm surprised Kirk Herbstreit wasn't given an Oscar for his performance. Last Friday, Kirk Herbstreit, he utilized his acting skills again to put on another pandering performance. He was the guest on the Pat McAfee Show. Obviously, they were talking about college football. They were patting themselves on the ass, giving themselves credit for the success of College Gameday. I don't understand why normal people are criticizing our show. Our ratings are great. Now, this was actually a rare instance where someone at ESPN was actually being truthful about their ratings. They keep trying to make us believe that ratings for the Pat McAfee Show are great, yet for some reason, every time I look at his ratings, they're in the pooper. I had to scroll to the bottom of the ratings chart to find Pat McAfee's ratings. If competing with pickleball and something called WNBA Studio is considered success for Pat McAfee at ESPN, then I guess Pat McAfee is successful? Now, supposedly, when Kirk Herbstreit was on the show last Friday, Pat McAfee was thinking about leaving College Gameday. He claimed that he was tired of receiving criticism. He was tired of people not liking him. I almost feel bad for the guy because Pat McAfee seems like the type of dude who seeks validation and approval from others. Just from the outside looking in, his confidence seems to be shaky. Seems like he relies on the approval of others for his own self-worth. Professionally speaking, anyway, I'm not talking about self-worth in his personal life. But with the future of Pat McAfee supposedly uncertain, Kirk Herbstreit, he made what he thought was a startling revelation. I know how to scare executives at ESPN. I know how to show my importance and keep my bromance with Pat McAfee alive. I will announce live on his show, I am quitting College Gameday if Pat McAfee doesn't return. Watch for yourself.
If you dare even think,
bro, I don't want the negativity in my life. I don't want the death threats every week.
I'm leaving with you.
No,
you
Romeo and
Juliet.
Slow
down.
I am.
Boo-hoo, Herbstreit.
Don't you put that on me.
Some bitch is the one saying he's leaving. I'm just saying.
Kirk just put all of his cards on the table. Wow.
Yeah, he really did. That's a nice guilt trip here.
I'm just saying, dude. I'm not
full house. You're screwing Pat over.
I'm not kissing your ass. I'm just telling you that and I've told you this a lot, that you've changed my experience.
This is pure speculation on my part, but I think this entire segment was orchestrated. For starters, I think Kirk Herbstreit was trying to take some of the heat off of Pat McAfee, both with ESPN's television audience and maybe even with executives at the network. You heard him say it. I'm not doing College Gameday without my work husband, Pat McAfee. He's trying to force ESPN's audience to embrace him. If you don't want Patty on the show, you can't have Herbie either. Well, I would be fine with that. Kirk Herbstreit is trying to be Pat McAfee's knight in shining armor. He's trying to use his clout, or at least the clout that he thinks he has, to force the audience to embrace Pat McAfee. Another reason I think this segment was orchestrated, a couple of minutes after Kirk Herbstreit defended Pat McAfee's honor, Pat McAfee announced on his show, I'm coming back to College Gameday, baby! Okay, then what the fuck was the point in that segment? What was the point in Kirk Herbstreit kissing your ass? I cannot stand pandering. I can't stand ass kissing. It reeks of inauthenticity. It's attention-seeking behavior, and it's exactly what we have come to expect from ESPN. But let's just assume for a second that this segment was real. Let's assume for a second it was authentic. Kirk Herbstreit would actually be willing to risk his career for Pat McAfee. If Pat McAfee didn't return to College Gameday, Kirk Herbstreit, he would quit. Guess how many people would care? None. Guess how many people at ESPN would care? None. There are very few people that are not replaceable. During the prime of his career, Howard Stern, he was not replaceable. For the past 5 years, Bill Belichick's been trying to replace Tom Brady. Hadn't happened. Probably going to cost Bill Belichick his job. Hell, it might cost Bill Belichick his career. There's not much of a market for a head coach that's over 70 years old who hasn't proven that he can win without Tom Brady. The Saints have yet to replace Drew Brees. In the last 2 years, we've had more starting quarterbacks in New Orleans than we had in the 15 years under Sean Payton and Drew Brees. The elite of the elite, they can't be replaced. Does anyone include Kirk Herbstreit in that group? Do you really think ESPN couldn't replace him? If he left College Gameday, the show would move on. Within a couple of years, most people would forget that Kirk Herbstreit was even on the show. He is just like everyone else at the worldwide leader in woke. Kirk Herbstreit is a minor component in the overall machine. Take him out, put someone like Tim Tebow in his place, College Gameday moves on. There is not a single person at ESPN that can't be replaced. Look at what happened when Skip Bayless left First Take. They moved Stephen A. Smith into his spot, show moves on. If Stephen A. Smith decides to leave ESPN, which you guys know I think he is going to do, They already have his replacement with Shay Shay. This segment on the Pat McAfee Show, it just reeked of desperation. ESPN is desperately trying to get Pat McAfee over with their core audience. Now, I understand why they're doing it. ESPN's got almost $100 million invested in this experiment with Pat McAfee, but like we have discussed numerous times here on the channel, it is not going to work. It's like, it would be the equivalent of Fox News hiring Joy Reid and trying to get their conservative audience to embrace her. Never going to happen. ESPN's audience, they don't want to hear Aaron Rodgers make fun of the father Fauci. For the most part, the Pat McAfee Show, it is centered around college football and the NFL. He is struggling to draw an audience on television during the height of the regular season in football. What's going to happen in April? What's going to happen in July? Even shows like First Take see a drastic decline in their ratings during the spring and summer. And First Take is heavily focused on the NBA. Pat McAfee, he cannot afford a drastic decline. Hell, it seems like he's got nowhere to go but up at this point. Like I told you guys before, I don't see this marriage between ESPN and Pat McAfee working out. I don't see it ending well. And I hate it for him because Pat McAfee seems like a genuine dude. He just made the wrong decision. Chose the wrong partner. You're trying to fit a normal dude into the culture of the worldwide leader in woke. How is that supposed to work? All right, brief channel update before I get out of here. Gonna be on vacation next week, but I think I'm gonna bring my studio equipment with me. Obviously, I won't be publishing 2 videos a day, and this will probably be the only video for today, Saturday. Need to work on the video for the Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. I still have to get tomorrow's video finished, and I need to get one finished for Monday while I'm traveling. I'm hoping to take my equipment with me to at least get a couple of videos uploaded while I'm gone. My girlfriend and her daughter, she likes to sleep in. I wake up early, so hoping I can get some work done in the mornings while they're asleep. I'll keep you guys posted on that though. But in the meantime, give me your thoughts on this publicity stunt with Kirk Herbstreit and Pat McAfee. Was this entire segment orchestrated, or do you think it was authentic? Also, will Pat McAfee ever resonate with ESPN's audience? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate each one of you guys and your continued support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.